unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Former champion Tony Bellew says he would make a fool out of heavyweight Andy Ruiz, despite not wanting to come out of retirement to fight him. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, head over to the Patreon, shifting some of the content that you would find over here to the Patreon and YouTube channel member communities. So head over to Patreon. It explains everything, link in the description, or hit the join button on YouTube to become a YouTube channel member to become part of the extended Ego Army family. I got some great things in store. Now, another great way to support the channel is to click the link in the description and get ESPN Plus, the bundle. Right now, there's no live events really, so we're pushing the ESPN Plus bundle. That includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All three apps, one price, $12.99 a month, and it does help the channel in a phenomenal way when you guys click on that. With lockdowns and quarantines, it's a great time to catch up on docu-series like 30 for 30, you know, and the content that's available on Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. Use that link. Now, let's jump into it. We unpack. Coming to you live. Eddie Hearn, you know, he's trying to stay relevant, stay busy during this pandemic, and he had an interview with Tony Bellew. So, long story short, I will get into the quote. Tony Bellew says that he would basically toy with Andy Ruiz and beat his ass and make him out to look like a fool. But listen, let me just get into the quotes. Link will be in the description. I mean, this is really weird, bizarre. It says retired Tony Bellew exclusive. Bomber plays down talk of a comeback despite telling Eddie Hearn he wants to fight Andy Ruiz Jr. Right? I don't know why this ain't playing.
You keep getting linked with fights, this, that, and the other. Do you think we'll see you in a ring again?
Depends where the ring gets set up, mate, and who's putting it up. If I put one up my guard, mate, you definitely see me in it, but in a ring in a huge stadium, I don't know. I want to fight all the time, mate. I'm not going to lie. I wish every day I could just have a fight schedule and I was going to punch someone's face in. I love having a fight, mate. It's just what makes me sick.
What could tempt you out of retirement?
I'd like to say money, but it's not. It's really not. It's just the fact that I like punching people in the face. And believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually miss getting punched in the face. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but I am. What would tempt me and get me back? I don't know. The buzz, the thought of sort of just getting ready to go again. I love fighting. I always love fighting the day I was born, and I love it till the day I die. So it's just one of them things. You know, you've got to sell by date. I'm sure Ali would love to carry on playing football. Freddie would love to carry on playing cricket. But unfortunately for us, we have sell by dates. And I'll be honest, I don't actually think I'm past mine yet, but I just don't think my body can get through 12 weeks of camp.
So he says, let's get him. It says Tony Bellew has told TalkSports he is not planning on returning to the ring, although admitting he's tempted to fight with Andy Ruiz. On a recent Talk the Talk show with his old promoter, Eddie Hearn, the pair revealed Bellew had recently approached him about a comeback fight against Andy Ruiz. However, despite toying with the prospects, the 37-year-old intends to stay retired. Bellew told Talk Sports Breakfast on Tuesday, quote, "I want to fight all the time, I'm not going to lie. Wish I could every day I could have a fight scheduled and punch someone in the face. I love having a fight. It makes me tick, but I can't do it." Bellew previously said he's confident that he would play with Andy Ruiz and absolutely, this is a quote, absolutely make a fool of him. You guys see that right here? Absolutely make a fool of him. But when asked what would tempt him to come back, he explained, quote, I like to say money, but it's not. It's just the fact I like punching people in the face. And believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually miss getting punched in the face. What would tempt me back? I don't know. The buzz, the thought of getting ready to go again. I love fighting. I've always loved fighting since the day I was born, and I'll love it till the day I die. It's just one of those things, but you got a sell-by date. I'll be honest, I don't actually think I'm past mine yet, but I don't think my body could get through a 12-week camp, right? Now, let's see if another article has more of what he said. Okay, The Sun, yeah, they got some action. Final bell, Tony Bellew considers coming out of retirement to, quote, make a fool out of former heavyweight champ Andy Ruiz, right? The retired ex-cruiserweight champ watched the Mexican win heavyweight title against Joshua last June, but blow his chance at retaining it by dodging training and blowing up 20 stone, etc. Brixton banger Dillian White has offered Ruiz around £3 million, even though he lied and said it was $5 million. I did a video about that. For his comeback fight from his Saudi Arabia flop, 37-year-old bomber Bellew has considered ending his 18-month retirement to wallop the chunky 30-year-old. The Evertonian said, quote, I don't think I am the same animal anymore, but I think I could still turn into it. I think I could switch at any minute, but it's whether your body and mind can do the 12-week camp and sparring sessions needed to prepare for a fight. I do still feel I could do it. I have a couple of wars, but I was never shot or battered, which, you know, I'll save my thoughts, but the Usyk fight was that. That was battered. Adonis Stevenson, but whatever. I still feel I could beat people. I'm confident I would play with Andy Ruiz Jr. and make a fool out of him. But would I be willing to risk it all and put everything on the line again? I doubt it. Bellew earned life-changing money for his final 3 pay-per-view fights against David Haye twice and Alexander Usyk. Promoter Eddie Hearn hopes his hard-earned fortune and young family keep him out of a comeback. Hearn says, we had a chat the other day and he started talking about fighters and he said he wanted Andy Ruiz Jr. His name came up and Tony said, get me him. In Tony's famous words, I'll F him up. But I said, Tony, please don't do it. I think you have too many good people around you now who would not let you do it. Right? So, listen, we unpack. You know, I give you guys the real, the uncut, that raw, that puro, right? To me, this is kind of lame from Tony Bellew. Like, I get the fighter having the itch to come back. That makes sense. But to me, being the fighter, and you're basically talking greasy about the man you see on screen, Andy Ruiz, who is a pretty stout heavyweight in terms of size. He's not really tall, but he's big, and he's gonna outweigh you for sure. Unless in your off season, the last 18 months, you just blew up, and you can compete with someone who might be 255 to 273 or whatever he weighed for the Joshua rematch. So to me, that's lame that Tony Bellew continues to do this, where he'll kind of teeter on the fence. He'll make the statement, but then you don't want to come out of retirement to make good on your promises. You can't. How you gonna say I'll make this person look a fool? Have them looking crazy. I'll beat them. I'll whoop them. I'll kick their ass, and then you're not willing to show that. To me, I don't really. That it's kind of like Billy Joe Saunders throwing Nando's chicken at Deontay Wilder, and then when Wilder's crew start chasing him down the stairs, he running and stuff. Like, to me, that's just kind of a weird move and a weird play, and it to me, it's not a good look. I don't know what's up with the UK, some of the clout chasing that we've seen, but I just feel it's unfair to say you'll basically whoop him, but then you're not coming outside. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're saying, it's like it's like looking at somebody from your second story floor, looking out the window, and you see some neighborhood kids, and you keep throwing stuff from out the window and flipping them off and flicking them off and whatnot, and you won't come outside though. You see what I'm saying? And then your own promoter is telling you, hey, don't do it, but you're saying you could do it. Like, listen, I in my opinion, I think Tony Bellew, I give him all the props in the world for beating David Haye. I didn't think he was going to do it because of the size difference. And here's also the interview, right? In case you want to watch that. But, you know, I didn't think he beat David Haye. But David Haye, his body broke up on him. I think has something to do with it. You know, it'd be foolish for me to just surmise that was the best David Haye. And, you know, David Haye, when he first got to the heavyweight division before he fought Klitschko, and act like it was the same David Haye. You know, to me, it don't make sense. But, you know, fair play. Tony Bellew did the thing, and he beat David Haye, right? Look, he posting stuff about Ruiz. Right, John Ruiz is game to face Andy Ruiz. Can you make this happen? Eddie Hearn on board. Fat Boy versus Fat Boy. You know, you're doing all these call-outs and stuff, but you won't fight him. This reminds me of Bellew's tactics and what he did versus Deontay Wilder. When Wilder, you guys can Google this, but Deontay Wilder, he came, I think it was for a Joshua fight, Joshua Klitschko or something, and he had this whole run-in with Tony Bellew, and Tony Bellew was on camera looking like he wanted smoke with Deontay Wilder, and I'm like, oh, okay. You know, and this is when he was an active fighter, so I'm like, okay, crazy. You know, you want to fight Wilder, undefeated Wilder, knockout power, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, he was acting like he wanted to smoke. And Tony Bellew continues to do these interviews about Deontay Wilder, even recently, you know, where he's saying, oh, Wilder, he'll get beat by Usyk, he'll get beat by this person, Joshua's too much, Tyson Fury's too much. And he's, you know, basically downplaying everything, all that is Wilder. But the thing about it is, he also is on record, and he stated that Wilder like wrapped his hand around him, like, you know, to like pose for a picture, and his arms were so long, his arms wrapped around Tony Bellew's body. So he was like, man, hell nah, I'll never fight Wilder, because he said at first I thought, you know, I would fight him, but afterwards, after his arm wrapped around me, you know, and I see the vicious power, I decided, nah, like I would never fight him. He looked kind of skint right here. He looked kind of crazy. Yeah, he looked kind of rough right there, like the dude that shot Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense. But anyway, the bottom line is he basically talked the talk about Wilder and said he would fight Wilder, and, you know, did all this stuff for the camera. Let me see if I can pull it up. Deontay Wilder, Tony Bellew. See, we unpack new media. We unpack. Look there. Look, beef. Tony Bellew and Deontay Wilder confront each other. Tony Bellew is hilariously honest. Deontay Wilder, blah blah blah. Tony Bellew hugged Deontay Wilder and got scared. See, this was it. Look, this was in 2017. You know, it was beef in 2017 with Tony Bellew. That's what they're saying, and people were thinking like, okay, this could fight. And then Tony Bellew admitted a year later that he hugged Wilder, and he was like, man, what the hell? This, you know, I would never. Look, Tony Bellew trashes Deontay Wilder, labels him the worst heavyweight. See, this is what I'm saying. Look, here, everything. Tony Bellew, everything I'm saying, corroborated. Tony Bellew on why he'd never fight with Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder. So it's the same thing he's doing with Andy Ruiz. He says, I was pretty adamant I was going to fight Deontay Wilder. I was ready to do the fight. We were on Sky broadcast when filming stopped. I went over to him. When Deontay Wilder gripped mine, it covered my whole hand. At that point, I thought, what the F is going on here? Then he pulled me in and hugged me. When he hugged me, his arms went around my whole body. He could literally scratch the side of his own face. At that point, something went off in my mind, and I just went, no way. I just remember thinking to myself, I will never get in the ring with this human cricket. His arms covered my whole body, and he's got some serious power. right? So he basically said when, face to face, when he seen Wilder's dimensions and how big he was like, nah, I ain't fighting this power punching country motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing he's doing with Andy Ruiz. He did all this stuff about he'll fight Wilder and said he was down to fight him. And then this is the broadcast like a year later, and Wilder got closer because when they did the confrontation, there was like a little bit of a gap and a barrier in between the two. But then he's saying Wilder came up to him and, on some cordial stuff, introduced, look, when they had this confrontation, Wilder was leaning on a rail or whatever, and they weren't face to face. But then Wilder actually pulled up and was like right in your grill, because you were doing a telecast. And he said from that moment on, he knew that this was guys like in a different, weight class than me. So it's weird to me. It's weird that Tony Bellew keeps doing this, where he has so much to say. And then to this day, he keeps saying Wilder's the worst heavyweight. Okay, come out of retirement and fight him. Like, that's just how I feel. Worst heavyweight. Look, everything I'm saying is true. Deontay Wilder hits back at Tony Bellew for worst heavyweight criticism. Bellew calls AJ best heavyweight, blast Wilder. See? And Wilder, he said, I'll fight you. Deontay Wilder hits back at Tony Bellew for worst heavyweight champion ever. WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder has come out fighting at past criticism from former cruiserweight champion. He said, Tony Bellew's a bitch. He was scared during the time and he's scared now. I'll still go down in weight. I can still lose weight. One thing I know how to do is go down. Any of these clowns around here want to try Deontay Wilder, give me a chance. Meet me at a catch weight. Something is about principle. This is a principle ass whooping right here. If Bellew ever wants this, if he ever wants this work, let me know. I'll get down or you come up, whatever you comfortable with. See? So Deontay Wilder, he was like, all right, I'm the worst heavyweight in the world. Let's scrap. And Tony Bellew, he said he didn't want none. And now Andy Ruiz is pretty much the same thing. He's saying, oh, I'll work Andy Ruiz, make him look to be a fool. But he got knocked out in his last fight. I think the Usyk was his last fight. Tony Bellew, box rec. I'm pretty sure that was his last fight that put him into retirement. So it's kind of weird. See, he has 2 knockouts, Adonis and Usyk. And he's a good fight. Yeah, Usyk was the last fight at cruiserweight. So you fought at cruiserweight, and then it was a nasty knockout in the 8th round. So to me, this is just weird behavior. And I don't know what's up with the UK, where I see this kind of weird clout chasing stuff. I just feel like if you're retired, that's cool. That's what you chose to do. Hats off to you on your career. But I don't think Tony Bellew would do good against Andy Ruiz Jr. or Deontay Wilder or any of the real, big heavyweight. David Haye, again, I'm not trying to take away credit. He proved people wrong in the David Haye performance, but that's David Haye with injury. Wilder, even though he lost to Tyson Fury, all right, let him have a tune-up fight with Tony Bellew then. If he's the worst heavyweight. You see what I'm saying? Because even in this fight with Makabu or whatever this dude is, he got hurt. He got hurt in that. See, look, Bellew down in the first round from a left hook. So he stopped dude, but he was hurting there too. And Adonis Stevenson knocked him out at light heavy. So I just feel overall it's weird behavior to have all these, and you don't notice a pattern. He keeps doing it to American heavyweights. He's not talking as crazy about Tyson Fury, Dillian White, Daniel Dubois. It's just like he's shitting on American heavyweights, but then it's always some backdoor kind of excuse to not have to fight them. And I don't really understand that behavior. Again, it's equivalent to a kid flicking off the kids downstairs or, out the window, but then you won't actually come out the house. You're saying, oh, Andy Ruiz is trash. I'll whoop him. fat tub of lard, Wilder ain't this, Wilder the worst ever. But then you always have a convenient excuse not to fight him. You don't want to fight Wilder, after you reconsidered. And now you're saying, oh, can I do a 12-week camp and can I get into shape and get my mind right? Why? Ruiz is supposed to be trash, right? He looked horrible versus Joshua in the rematch, right? So, you said it's tough. I still think Andy Ruiz is a good fighter. He definitely didn't look good in his last fight, but I don't see Andy Ruiz losing to Tony Bellew, unless he did some weird stuff like didn't get in shape again. But Andy Ruiz, I think he's too nice and too big for Tony Bellew. But there's always one way to prove me wrong, and that's to actually come out of retirement and fight him. I just think it's weird, especially if he gets with Eddie Reynoso and Canelo's team, and because I think Eddie Reynoso is going to be good for Ruiz's discipline. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I just feel like it's weird behavior with all the clout chasing and, saying that Ruiz is bad and Wilder is bad. But then you're saying you would fight him and you live to fight and you'll always love to fight. But you don't really want to scrap with these two for real. But you have so much negative things to say about American heavyweights particularly. Listen. That's a great fight. Ruiz just coming off a bad loss, fighting a name like Tony Bellew who has 2 wins. But Tony Bellew has to, get in proper shape and form. But if Usyk knocked you out in the 8th round or whatever in that way, I see like Wilder and Ruiz fights being very difficult. So to me, it's just weird in the sense of why would you bring this energy on yourself? And then your own promoter's telling you stay retired. So Eddie Hearn, he does as much as he can with Dillian White trying to make the Andy Ruiz fight. He'll try to talk up that fight, but I don't see Eddie Hearn talking up Ruiz and saying, hey, we sent Ruiz, send Ruiz an offer $5 million to fight out of retirement Tony Bellew. I bet you Andy Ruiz will do that, because I don't think Andy Ruiz would fear losing. And I'm not saying he fears losing to Dillian White, but I think Andy Ruiz would view that as an easy work $5 million. That's just my opinion. I don't know. You'd have to actually talk to Andy Ruiz, but I think we're getting into a culture of boxing that I don't like. And I wish we could go back to the throwback. And that's what I'm going to work on my channel to make it feel like the good old days, the golden years in boxing. We're getting in this culture of you lose one time or you take a bad loss and it's like you're written off and you suck and you were never good and you were a hype job. People are doing that. There are examples where that is actually true. Some people are overhyped and things like that, but people are doing too much. When it comes to like Andy Ruiz and Wilder, they take one loss. Ruiz has 2 career losses and then people write him off. I understand bad performance with Tyson Fury, bad performance against Joshua, but you have to keep in mind these are all top 3 heavyweights that they've lost to. Joshua and Fury, they're all top heavyweights. You see what I'm saying? So it's really no big deal to lose to someone like that. Is how do you respond to that loss? So you can sleep on Ruiz if you want. I think Ruiz, I want to see Ruiz really discipline himself. Stop eating out, stop eating in and out and all this shit, and come back correct, because people are throwing a lot of mud on his name, just like Wilder. And this is what they're doing to American heavyweights, because they, took nasty losses or whatever. But it's up to them to show people what they really about. So I want to see Ruiz bounce back and take some good fights and have some good performances. Let me know what you guys think. Tony Bellew, could he beat Andy Ruiz? Do you think I'm tripping? Is Tony Bellew tripping? Let me know that in the comment section. Me personally, I just think fair is fair. I feel if you're going to call a guy out and you're saying you would whoop him and make a fool, then show the world that. Like I always say on my channel, LSI. Let's see it. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Let's see it. If Ruiz ain't this and that, like, it's just how do you make these assessments of people and say Wilder's the worst thing ever in the heavyweight division. I'll whoop Ruiz and kick his butt and make him look ordinary, make a fool out of him. But then when it comes to it, you won't make it. And then your promoter's telling you not to do it. So, you know, it just sounds like cap. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. We unpack. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.